Has it ever happened to you that you were sitting there and wondering, huh, how would I change Dead by Daylight? If I had the keys to the kingdom, what would I do to change the game? Have you ever thought that? Because I certainly have. And every time, I kind of think about it like, you know, every time I play it, because the game is like a fucking disaster. And like a lot of, in a lot of places, okay? The game sucks. I think everybody knows the game sucks, and the game sucks since release. Everybody knows how bad this game is, right? This game's terrible. This game's fucking terrible. I think we all know that. So it's like, you know, if we were to actually fire Behavior Interactive and get some serious game designers behind the wheel of this game, what could we do? What kind of changes could we make to this game that would actually save it from the casual domain that it's become? Well, I wrote down some changes, friends. I've wrote down some changes. Oh yeah, I have. Hey, look, it's my alarm. So, I won't fucking hold anybody up. The only rule that I had when I was making this was, if it was actually in the game before the devs changed it, you can't change it back to the way it was. That wasn't, so like, no, I'm not gonna like say something dumb like bring back the old ruin, bring back the old save the best for last, or anything like that. What's up, Lars? You gonna listen to my huge list? I got a huge list of changes here, dude. Okay. The very first thing that that we're gonna start with is like these fucking menus, dude. Now, to be fair, this is more on the Switch version than anything else. I think it has more to do with like how it works on Switch. But sometimes menu navigation, especially on Switch, is just terrible. It's just terrible. You can barely like position the damn cursor where you want it to go. Again, this is less of a big deal on anything, so I'll just leave it at that. Just go through and fucking smoothen out the fucking menu on the Switch. It's fucking garbage. Okay. So, actual first big change, okay? Let's talk about the fucking blood web. What kind of fucking progression system does anybody know in any game ever that works like the fucking blood web? The blood web is terrible. The blood web is terrible. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. In terms of, like, getting things you would want for your game, it's terrible. It's terrible, dude. Like, why do we have a system that prioritizes RNG above everything else? That's like the biggest issue with this whole game. If this whole game was summed up in, if every problem in this game had one word, it said it's too much. There's too much RNG in this game. It's garbage. It's garbage. You should be able to go buy what you fucking want. Every character's add-on should be like, you know, on the shelf, and you should go able to go and buy whichever ones you want. And if you're worried that you're sitting here going, whoa, wouldn't that mean that they buy Moris every time? Oh, well, what about fixing Moris? What about fixing keys? What about fixing everything that's unhealthy in this game? Huh? What about all that? I actually forgot to put fix Moris and keys, but we'll get there. Like, why can't we just fucking, and if you're worried that some of their crap that you put in there will never be used, maybe that's the stuff you should consider looking at in terms of buffing. How about that? If you're worried about all this crap not being used, first of all, a lot of this crap's not used anyway, so your worries are already in the game. No one's using all your garbage anyway. No one's ever gonna run this fucking add-on right here. Affected by Oblivious for 15 seconds. Like, what the hell is that? What the hell is this add-on? What the hell is it supposed to do for Pyramid Head? No one's gonna fucking run this. Oh, this is pretty big, dude. It's pretty big. We're gonna go over all this stuff. So, fucking take the RNG progression system out of the game. It's terrible. It's just terrible. And then speaking of the blood web, the very next change is fucking reduce the grind. The grind of this game is stupid. Prestiging does nothing. Prestiging does absolutely nothing. It's a waste of fucking time. They say it's supposed to like make better offerings in the blood web or some shit. I don't know. I haven't noticed on Myers. Prestiging literally does nothing but makes the grind longer. Don't like fucking take the grind out. And here's how you do it. If you really want to keep prestiging, first of all, add prestige rewards, which they're talking about doing. So I'll fucking cut them some slack on that one. But like, the way that you do it is when you like It's not noticeable at all. The way that you fix it is when you're prestiging a character, that's the tier of the perk you get. That's the easiest way to fix it. Like, when you're Prestige 1, you'll have to go through the whole thing again. But when you're on Prestige 2, every perk that you unlock is already on level 2. And then when you're Prestige 3, every perk you get's already on level 3. It would reduce the grind really fucking... It would make that process a whole lot fucking easier than it is right now. It wouldn't fix the problem. It wouldn't fix the fucking problem, don't get me wrong. But it would fucking, you know, make it better than it is now. Because right now it's dog shit. It's just terrible right now, the progression system is in this game. It's terrible. I'm willing to bet that this game has probably the worst progression system that I've ever played. Like, seriously. That's how bad this progression system is. It's probably the worst one I have ever fucking played. Prestiging does nothing. Does nothing. So, like, fine, add prestige rewards. Like, if you have a prestige character, you can give, like, I don't fucking know. Whatever they want to do with that. But just fucking reduce the grind, that's the point. Jesus. Next thing I want to talk about changing. The fucking Shrine of Secrets. But this thing fucking pisses me off to no end. Okay? This year is actually an example of what it should be. Every perk in here this week is absolute fucking crap. It's crap. The best perk here is probably Aftercare, which is really saying something because nobody fucking runs Aftercare. Aftercare is really bad. So, like, the way that you fix it, there's a lot of solutions I've heard for this. One thing I've heard is that while a perk is in the Shrine of Secrets, it gets a buff, which would actually be interesting. Like, it gets like a Shrine of Secrets buff, where, like, it does something else for the week, or its effect is overall buffed for the week, or something. That would actually be kind of neat, but, like, my biggest thing with the Shrine of Secrets, my biggest fucking complaint is when the power imbalance is off. Like, this week it's fine, because every perk sucks, but, like, I hate when Survivors got Dead Hard and, like, Adrenaline in the same week, and Killers got, like, what did we get that week? I think we got Monstrous Shrine when they had Dead Hard. Like, it was embarrassing, the power balance of... Like, just start paying attention to that. If you don't believe me, just start paying attention to it. Sometimes one side will get their meta perk, and then the other side will get a bunch of fucking garbage. Like, just fucking make it consistent. Like, how hard is that? How hard is that to go, wow, let's put the good perks in together with the other good perks and put the bad perks in with the other bad perks. I feel like right now the way they do it is they just fucking spin a wheel and whatever the wheel spins on is what they do it. Now obviously I don't think that's true because like these are both hexes. I mean, and then they put Spirit Fury Enduring together one week. So like they obviously doing something with it, but like... Oh yeah, Beast of Prey and then Object of Obsession. I think that was in there one week. Well, like they put trash in on one side and then give the other side this broken perk. But I don't know if it was Beast of Prey, but I remember the week that Object of Obsession was in the Shrine, Killers had bullshit. Like their perks were like they had some of the worst perks in the game when the Survivors got Object in the Shrine. Terrible. This thing is garbage and it needs relooked at. It's terrible. It's terrible. Okay. So that's change number, what, 4? Okay. 5. When you're readied up and in queue, give people something to do. I mean, seriously. Like, a fucking spectate mode. Hell, they program bots on mobile. Can't they, like, go in on a HUD map with bots while you wait to get in a game? Like, fucking Fortnite does that. Fortnite makes it so you can just screw around in a fucking... lobby while you're waiting. Doesn't Overwatch have that too, where you can like just screw around in an empty map while you're queuing up? I thought they had something like that. Just give people something to do while they're sitting in queue. That'll make the queue time bitching way less frequent. And then, because what they need to do is they need to prioritize fairness and ping. So they need to not prioritize time, and then they need to give people something to do. Also be able to explore maps by yourself. I agree. I completely agree. I think you should be able to explore the maps, and like, well, I would argue with bots. I think you should be able to explore a map and look for totems and shit. Like, just do something that could actually help you in game while you're sitting there waiting to queue up. Just sitting there not doing anything is a complete waste of everybody's time. Like, do something with that. Survivors sometimes have to wait like what, 20 minutes? If they could explore a map, like. or run a bot around or something, like it would make their bitching less frequent, which would actually be able to help us prioritize getting in a fair game and not having to bully low ranks. It's stupid. It's stupid. Okay, next one. Implement early game slowdown in some capacity. Like, please, fucking fix the early game. Which they said that they're gonna do that. We'll practice on Haddonfield, wouldn't we all, dude? Wouldn't we all? Introduce some early game slowdown in some way. Now, I kept this one intentionally vague because I've heard there's a lot of ideas floating around about how to actually fix this. But right now, the early game starts in, survivors can just get on a generator right away with no punish. I mean, they shouldn't get punished. The game starts in absolutely survivor-favored conditions. We need to not make the game start in killer-favored conditions. Like I've always said this. The way that the game starts right now is the equivalent of the killer starting the match with one guy hooked and one guy slugged. That's how the game starts right now. Like if the survivors, that's how I explain it to survivor players. The way that the match starts right now is absolutely horrendous. It's horrendous. Because they get to climb on a gen with no clue of where they spawned in, or all you get's a vague idea, and then by the time you find someone, by the time you start your first chase, 2 gens are already almost done. It's stupid. It's very, very silly. And you could say just pressure gens. That's my favorite. Like, how is Leatherface supposed to pressure gens? Like, how does he do that? How does Clown pressure the gens? How does Deathslinger pressure the gens? These people, they can't move around the map. They're trash at moving around the map, and they don't have a presence. So it's like, for fuck's sake, dude. They need something. Fix the early game. Just pressure gens, dude. I know, I suck. I suck, dude. Now, there's a lot of ideas on how to do this. Like, make survivors find shit or something. I don't know. Or just Scott Junn had an idea about how to do it. I kept this intentionally vague so you can fill in your own solutions, but the point is, I don't care how they do it, just fix the fucking early game. Change the way the game starts to not to be so oppressive to some of these weaker killers in the early game. Like, seriously, the early game is the reason that some of these killers are bad right now. Like, the early game is the biggest reason why Myers sucks. Seriously. If the early game wasn't as bad, Myers would probably be a high tier. But just because of how bad the early game is, it can completely shut him down. The early game is so bad that it can start affecting killers' late games because of how bad it is. It's terrible. It's terrible. Okay. That's all I have to say about that. We're going to try to keep this short so we can start playing. But we got a lot of shit to go over. Okay. Next. Number 7. Nerf 2 survivors on a gen by an additional 10 seconds. 2-second nerf was all that time got. It went from 44 to 46. It went from 44 to 46. Nerf that by 10 more seconds, please. Just 2. You can keep 3 and 4 the same as it is right now. Take your time, this is good stuff. Oh, okay, thanks, dude. But, like, seriously, nerf survivors on a generator. Nerf 2. 3 and 4, you can keep them the same. But 2, that number needed a way bigger nerf than it got. 2 is the worst time in this game right now. It's the time that is keeping the game unhealthy. Where it's the time that is keeping the gen rush alive. Yeah, it's the time that it's the time that is allowing survivors to go around the map and rapidly get generators done. That's the thing that's killing us. I've been saying that since they nerfed Ruin, and the problem became very clear. Once they nerfed Ruin, the game got exposed. I will say that. There was one good thing that became of the Ruin nerf. It was that as soon as Ruin got nerfed, the game was exposed for what it was. So, the reason that the gens went so fast was absolutely exposed. 2 survivors on a gen has got to go. Now, people, if you do the nerf I suggested, I wanted it like 12 seconds. Because it was 44. I said they should nerf that by 10 or 12 seconds. So you can even add 8 more seconds and I would be satisfied with it, because that would be 10 base gen time is 80. Making it 56 or 54 is still an effective buff. It still shaves off almost half a minute of generator times. It still saves almost 30 seconds, but it's not as oppressive anymore. It gives the killer 10 more seconds. Think about this. Okay, where is base killer movement speed? what is it, like 4.6? Isn't that what it is? Isn't base movement speed for killer like 4.6? Yeah, 4.6. So if you give killers, if you make it take 10 more seconds than it does right now, you give killers 10 times 4.6, you let the killer move an extra, what is that? 4.6 meters per second times 10. So 4.6 times 10, right? Is that right? 46. You let the killer move another 46 meters across the map. That's 46 more meters they can get their Pop Goes the Weasel off on. That's what that does. That's 46 more meters that they can travel before they pop a generator, which is huge. That would be huge for people like Leatherface, or Clown, or Myers, or even Deathslinger, who and these characters that can barely move. It would be huge if you say, okay, you guys can move 46 more meters. That'd be crazy for them. That would be absolutely insane for those characters. And it would give it would inherently make the early game weaker too. Like, that would help killers a ton if you just did that. Next, number 8, eliminate all map RNG. Get rid of map RNG. Map RNG is the reason that a competitive scene for this game is like next to impossible to do. Because inconsistent tile spawns. Inconsistent tile spawns means that sometimes you'll get a map that gets every survivor favored spawn, and then sometimes you'll get a map with every killer favored spawn. It's hard to judge these maps when you get inconsistent spawns. It's hard to figure out which maps need nerfed and which ones don't. What they need to do is balance the amount of tiles that can spawn, make half the killer favored tile spawn and half the survivor favored tile spawn, and then that's the map. That's what they need to do. And then it needs to be consistent through every game to have the map be at a state where you can rework it from there. Because, like, you don't know. Like, it's much harder to balance these maps when they don't spawn the same way every single time. It's much hard. It makes data collection harder. These devs are already slow enough with their fucking data collection. Having inconsistent maps makes their fucking data collection way slower. Decide how you want to do it, and don't have map RNG in the game anymore. Map RNG is terrible. There's too much RNG in this fucking game. The only mechanic that deserves RNG in this game are the totems. That's the only one. Keep everything else the same. It's very silly. Terrible. Healthy balance. Don't favor one side or the other. It should be a straight 50-50 down the middle. And if you're finding that, like, there's an odd number of tiles, fucking delete one. Which I guess would be or add a, make a small, I don't know what you do with that. Or in the future, design with just even numbers in mind. Shouldn't be that hard. Next, eradicate any remaining god loops that are still in the game. There are still some god loops in this game, people. The big two that are off the top of my head right now are the one on the worst one in the game right now is the infinite window on Disturbed Ward. That still has got to go. Get rid of it. There should be the concept of an infinite should not be in this game. It shouldn't exist. It should not exist. Get rid of Disturbed Ward's window. Get rid of both the windows on the lower floor of Disturbed Ward. Please. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. They're terrible game design. They're awful. They're just garbage. They're just garbage, dude. And then the other god loop is on the new Shitslingers map. The Macmillan map still. Which one? Fucking Groaning Storehouse has one that's almost a god loop. I still swear. The middle of Groaning Storehouse is still really bad. But, like, we're not done getting god loops out of the game. That's the point. There's still more god loops in this game that are still not gone. I know we got a big cleanup where we cleaned up the really bad ones and got most of them out, but we're not done with this crap yet, dude. There's still some more god loops and shit that's just straight up bullcrap in this game, lest we forget. I think you're probably talking about Groaning Storehouse. Because the way that Groaning Storehouse's window is, because the reason that Groaning Storehouse is so, like, garbage is that every other window has a door right next to it. Groaning Storehouse, they make the killer go left a bit before they go out the door. That's why that's still really bad. That's the problems with that. It adds more time than the other doors do. So it allows survivors to like maybe get a second vault. It's still really bad. Okay, next. Fucking fire the balance team, dude. Oh wait, no, that's next. Fire the balance team. Spoilers. That wasn't what I was saying. That. Okay. Yeah, growing storehouse. Thought so. That's the like. I know which loop you're talking about, dude. Yeah, I think that map just needs reshaped and restructured as well. I think that would help that map. The shape of that map is very bad. Oh yeah, 50% vault boost. Yeah, thanks for telling that. Thanks for telling us that behavior. Good thing we just found out through playing that survivors got a vault buff. We figured that out. Terrible. Number 10. In all future map designs, do away with the concept of a forced vault. The concept of a forced vault is so outdated, so old, so 2016. It should not be in this game anymore. Vaulting for killer is straight trash, and they really... Like, the only thing it's good for is mind games, and even then, it's a bad mind game. The concept of a forced vault should not be in this game ever. It's terrible. It's just terrible. Never force the killer to vault. Vaulting is what creates the infinites. Vaulting is what creates the, Vaulting is what creates the god loops. Every god loop that we had to get rid of a window. Because you force killers to vault, and that's always the problem. You could just buff vaulting for killers too. Dude, here's how bad vaulting is. Tier 3 Myers gets like, what is it? Does it tell us what he gets in Tier 3? Let's see. No, it doesn't really tell you here. But like, but Myers gets a fucking vault buff on Tier 3 and nobody vaults in Tier 3. So, like, so, a vaulting buff doesn't really save killer, dude. Just fucking, don't do away with the concept of a forced vault. It's very bad, very silly, and every time the killer vaults, the survivor's basically guaranteed a window. That's basically what vaulting does for you. It just fucks you in the ass. Don't do it. It's terrible. Never make the killer vault. Ever in future map design. Next. Make Coal Tower standard map design. Make the size of Coal Tower standard. That should be standard. You can go above and below, but most fucking maps should not be bigger than Coal Tower. To the hook movement speed. Yeah, they could. I've always said like perks like brutal strength and agitation should just be fucking base. Agitation should just be base, honestly. They should make agitation base and then rework the perk. But yeah, Coal Tower should be standard map size in the future. Like, I'm just saying, 8 out of 10 maps they make like what, 4 new maps a year? If they make 4 new maps a year, 3 of them should be the size of Coal Tower. You should not deviate too much from Coal Tower size. Midwich was Zubat. No. I know there's like 5 god palettes on Midwich. Oh yeah, Object of Obsession breaks the game at that level. Of course it does. Of course it does. Object of Obsession should just be removed from the game. I played at that map with Object as a survivor. It breaks the level. It's terrible. It's just terrible. If like I said, if you guys really think that Midwich Elementary School is good for killer, wait till you play a guy running Object of Obsession at that map. Just wait. Just wait. You get fucked. It's just garbage, dude. The map is garbage. The Midwich Elementary School is legit their worst map in a very long time. In a very long time. It's definitely worse than the Stranger Things map, which is also a bad map. That is their worst map in a very, very, very long time. Possibly their worst map in the modern era, actually. Very, very piss-poor map design. Midwich Elementary School is. Alright, number 12. Give the maps Ormond, Larry's, and Badham Preschool a size reduction. These are the 3, like, I'm not even gonna say Mother's Dwelling. But Mother's Dwelling would be nice. But the maps that really suffer from a critical balance problem because of their size are Larry's, Mount Ormond, and Badham Preschool. Yes, Badham Preschool. I said Badham Preschool. If you don't think Badham is bad for killer, I don't... Like, what do you... The only killers that can deal with it are the top tiers. The only ones that can deal with it are the top tiers. Like, when you're playing Spirit at Badham, you'll be alright. When you play Ghostface at Haddonfield... not Haddonfield. At, Badham, you'll be alright. If you play Plague or Legion, you're gonna get fucked. You play Trapper, you're gonna get fucked. The Badham, also the Badham school is also a god loop that needs removed from the game, which I've been saying for a very long time. When they fixed Badham the first time, I was like, wow, they're gonna finally get rid of the fucking stupid ass school, and they didn't. They just kept the school in 5 maps. Terrible thought process. Who's balancing this game? Green Ranks? So fucking fix Badham. Reduce the size. Like, it's not even the tiles, except for that one god loop. It's bad. All the other tiles are okay, but the problem is the map's too fucking big. Haven't played Larry's in forever. You see, Larry's is one of those maps where it's like you forget how bad it is, and then you like play there and realize that when they fucking reworked it, they fucking destroyed it. They fucking destroyed Larry's, dude. I will always say the reason that Larry's was a killer favorite map wasn't because of the tiles, which is what they just buffed. It was a killer favorite map because baby survivors couldn't find generators there. The gen placement and like, it's horrible now. It's a terrible map, dude. They really destroyed Larry's, and like they added like 4 windows in every pallet and a pallet in every single room. Like, that's not necessary. It gets to the same problem where like the god loops come in. It's not necessary. They don't need a pallet in every single room. They just don't need that. It's silly. It's very silly. Like, why did we... Like, one of the best rooms at Larry's... There was a transitional room at Larry's that had 4 doors. They made, like, 2 of those doors windows, and now it's one of the worst rooms in the game. Because if you want to, like... If they vault the window, you have to go all the way to one side to, like, leave the room. It's very, very stupid now. But it was a transitional room. There needs to be more transitional rooms at Larry's, and they need to fucking get rid of the fucking map size. If you don't think Larry's is one of the biggest maps in this game... Like, dude, it's huge. Larry's is fucking huge. And that's one of the biggest issues there, and why the Gen Rush is so bad. The Gen Rush is so bad because not only is the map big, but you can't cut through the middle. You have to take specific corridors. It's only good on Doctor. Yeah, I mean, they're good. I mean, yeah, top tiers are better at it, but even then, I feel like top tiers still struggle there. That game I had with Spirit there, I'll never forget that fucking game. Even though I won it, it was still one of the hardest games of my life. But again, not because like my Spirit was getting cucked, just the map was terrible. Like everything that was going wrong at that map felt like it was map design versus the survivor's skill. And then Ormond's huge. Ormond's just fucking huge. Like after the tile rework, here's what they did. When they nerfed Ormond's tiles, instead of just having jungle gyms spawn up each other's asses, now basic tiles spawn up each other's asses. Which is admittedly not as bad, but the problem's still there. A good survivor can link these tiles and make even a small loop a pain in the ass. What Ormond needs is a size reduction. Like, if you want to give survivors tile linkage, fine. The map can't be huge then. But Ormond, they just get everything. They just get everything. That's what the problem is. That's why it's still, to this day, one of the worst maps for killer in the game. Because of its size. Yeah, I've noticed. Jesus, I've noticed. Terrible. Alright. Number 13. Eradicate all Haddonfield fences. Get rid of them. I'm sorry, guys. They just can't stay. They just cannot stay. The infinite fence, I'm glad it's gone. The concept of a fence in Dead by Daylight is just so dumb. Because, like, you can be, like, right next to the guy, but actually be, like 50 meters away from him. Like, that's how dumb, like, the fences are. The concept of a fence in these games just doesn't really work. And, like, it makes patrolling the maps clunky. It makes everything about Haddonfield way harder. Just because the fences are there. Now again, Haddonfield has other issues, but above everything else, patrolling Haddonfield is bad. Bad ham fences too, yes, bad ham fences. Just the concept of a fence in this game just doesn't work. Get rid of the fences. Fences are garbage in this game. If you want to keep fences, they need to be breakable. You need to have the fences need to be fucking breakable, and they need to have like 6 breakables along the side. So you can they can't be 50 miles away from you anymore. Like, you wouldn't use all of those, but like, if you want to keep the fences, you need to make them breakables. This is not hard. And like, fuck the devs with their fucking breakable walls are such a hard mechanic that we have to find out what they do. Fuck you. It's just another pallet. That's what it is. It's just another pallet. It's just a dropped pallet on the map. That's what it is. How hard can it be to really figure out what that's doing? And I will also reiterate that it's hard to figure out the impact of a breakable wall on a new map. If you want to see how the breakable walls do, you need to add them to older maps. Don't add them to the God loop holes you just made for us. Keep those as holes, please. Never bring the God loop back, please. But yeah, get rid of the fucking fences. Sticking with Haddonfield, improve gen spacing and the placement of the generators on Haddonfield. No generator should ever be on the 2nd floor of a house. No. Those are way too abusable. They always spawn right near windows, and you can just fucking... That's perks to counter survivor perks. Oh god, dude. We shouldn't we? You think that'd be basic stuff, but no generator should ever spawn in a place where the killer has to do a forced vault to get over it and then drop down, and then by then the survivor and their balance landing perk are already 50 miles away. It's at the next house ready to do it to you again. It's very silly. Once you link the top floor of the house with the tiles below, that's when Haddonfield gets stupid. That's when chases on Haddonfield get stupid. Chasing them on the ground is very simple there. It's when they start linking the tiles from the top to the bottom. That's when the map gets stupid. That's when things get stupid there, dude. Like, anybody, like, all those tiles are weak. That's not what all the survivors say. They're like, oh, the tiles are weak. Anybody that says the tiles are weak on Haddonfield doesn't know how to link the top of the houses with the actual weak tiles. Because the killer has to do a vault, and then all you have to do is get one freed, drop the pallet, go to the next house. Like, it's really not that difficult. Like, it's just not, dude. No generator should ever be at the top of the house. Make the killer make the survivors have to do generators at the bottom levels and then work their way up to the top so the killer can potentially get a hit before they vault the window. That's what they need to fucking do with that. That way, you already have your first hit on them when they drop down, and then that's only one hit, which is much more doable than giving them a speed boost and then it starts over again. It's just silly. It's silly. Alright, next. Number 15. Delete 3 Bad Ham preschool maps. You don't need 5. You absolutely don't need 5. You really don't even need 2. But they did do a lot of work with the Bad Ham reworks, so I got you keep one. Delete 3 of those maps. We don't need 5 of them in the algorithm. Bad Ham preschool is not a section of maps where we need 5. That's like as many as we have Macmillan maps and Coldwind maps. We don't need 5 Bad Ham preschool maps. That's insane, especially when they're all bad except for like one that has good gen spacing on it, which I believe that's the second one. That's like the only. It's like if that's 2 or 3, I forget which one it is. One of them has bad gen spacing for survivors. That's the one you keep, and then reduce the size. Of like you have one that's big with bad gen spacing, and then one that's smaller with better gen spacing. That's what you do, and then you make one have the school, and then you make one have every other building. What you do to Bad Ham Preschool, here's what you do with it, guys. This isn't that hard. Okay, here's what you do to Bad Ham Preschool. One map has the school, okay? You nerf the school's God loop, and then put traditional structures out there, like some simple car tiles, maybe a TL. How about you replace some of these stupid tiles? Like, replace that house with a TL, please. You know how great that would be for Killer? If they got rid of that stupid house with a god pallet in it and a generator at the top of the second floor. Again, these are Haddonfield issues. Well, Haddonfield's one of the worst maps in the game. Badham's got Haddonfield problems. Delete that house and add a TL. Put some traditional jungle gym structures there instead of, like, houses. There's like 2 houses and fence tiles. Get rid of those fence tiles and put traditional TLs and maybe a short wall. Put a long wall, short wall there. Put some traditional fucking tiles at Badham Preschool. It would make these maps a lot better. And you can put a long wall jungle gym there if you want. I don't care. Just fucking get rid of the fucking buildings and add a, like, seriously. Okay, the building's strong, right? So take out the building, add a long wall jungle gym. Fine, I'll take that. Get rid of that building. It's trash. And then on the other map, that's where you have the buildings. So like a Badham Preschool 2, that's where you would have the buildings. You would have that house, and then you would have the other building with the really safe pallet in there too. And then you would, instead of having the big school, you would have traditional structures like TLs. Stuff that people know how to run to make, and also getting rid of those big buildings would improve line of sight at that map, so you could actually see a survivor. You could see people and make patrolling those maps easier. Fixing Badham is actually really, really simple. That's what pisses me off. They had 5 maps and they didn't get it right. Are you kidding me? It's not even that hard to do. But yeah, you don't need 5 Badham maps. Silly. That's very silly game design. Next, number 16. An endgame HUD. Please. There needs to be an actual endgame HUD with statistics on it that are actually relevant. You know how useless that endgame screen is right now? For real. That endgame screen is like garbage. The endgame screen is trash. Like, here are some of the statistics I'm talking about here. Make it clear to the killer if there's an SWF in the game. After. You don't do it before, after the game. It just if everybody that was in the same party, mark them with the same color username. It's like, okay, this was a 3-man. I was right that it was a 3-man. Oh wow, that was actually only a 2-man. The other 2 were in solo queue. Like stuff like that. Because right now, assuming if there's SWF is another reason that it's hard to figure out what the balance of the game is. Like we could be getting fucked by a good solo group and we don't even know it. We're thinking it's a 4-man. Like for fuck's sake, please put a HUD in that helps us figure out if it's SWF. A timestamp of when all the gens were completed, like just actual stats, when the knockdowns occurred, any flashlight saves that occurred, anything like that, so you could see what's going on in the match. And so like, this guy may have died, but it's like you can also see who's doing the best too, who deserves to rank up. Okay, this guy may have died, but he kited the killer for 4 minutes. He dropped 15 pallets on him, hit 2 flashlights. Like this guy clearly did the best in the game. And even though he didn't get a 5,000 blood point bonus, and he's at the bottom, like he clearly did the best. He should rank up the most. And then another thing I want, ability to see spawns on the endgame HUD. Pull up a bird's eye view of the map, saying where the killer spawned this map, where the survivor spawned in. That way you could see. Like, you could see, like, how bad the 2-2 spawn is when they get 2 and 2. And the developers go, wow, every time survivors get 2 and 2 spawns, they win. That's weird. It's almost like that spawn shouldn't be in the game. Huh. But yeah, an actual endgame HUD with, like, actual statistics would be lovely. Please do that. How hard could this stuff possibly be? Okay. Next. If the survivors start stalling the game, the fucking aura should be revealed. Also, you mentioned that the endgame collapse should begin as soon as the gens are done. Yeah, I got you. That could be something they do. I have a solution for the endgame collapse as well on here. But yeah, if the has it ever happened to you, killers, when you start winning, the last 2 survivors just stall the game for a very retarded period of time? Has that ever happened to you? Well, let's get rid of that. It delays the game an unhealthy like 16 minutes. It's silly. Why should we have to wait 10 to 15 minutes for these survivors to get bored and just let themselves die? If they're not touching a generator, if they're not progressing the game, they should start get fucking noise notifications. It's very silly that they can just sit there and stall the game. Reporting them does nothing. Behavior doesn't care. Behavior doesn't care. They're too busy fucking whacking off the Pyramid Head. And Dave Richards is too busy sucking Cotier's dick. They're not gonna do anything about the survivor stalling the game. Dave Richards is a fucking jamoke, dude. But fucking, yeah, seriously. The survivors, their auras should start getting revealed. They should start getting birds and noise notifications if they're not progressing the game. It makes no sense. Like, I would rather end this game fast and then move on. I don't want to sit here and play this game, which is already over, essentially, for another 10 to 15 minutes just because the survivors lost and they're going to be babies about it. Stupid. Auras, birds, whatever you want to do, dude. Just don't let the survivors stall the fucking game anymore. It's stupid. It's stupid. And also, you could have this work both ways, where it's where if the killer has everybody slugged, like, an easy way to do this, it would actually have some utility to put pressure on the survivors too. Make the slug timer speed up. Instead of having 4 minutes to bleed out, make it like 2. Like, that would help end the game faster if the killer's stalling the game. And it would put pressure on the survivors to do something. There's the last hooks. Yeah. I don't get it, dude. It's stupid. Okay. 18 and 19, they go together and they'll be brief because the devs haven't really put their system into place yet, so I don't know how bad or good it's going to be when these changes go in. But I would like to take a time to say that the ranking system is garbage and the matchmaking system is garbage. Now, the devs know it's garbage, and they're going to change it, so that's all we're going to say about that. I just want everybody to know that the ranking system is terrible. This is a broken system. It needs change. We need to eradicate it. It's trash. It doesn't work. You can't measure somebody's win condition if they're winning the game based on what the ranking system is telling you. Because the ranking system not only is bad, not only favors certain killers and dislikes certain killers, it's also survivors can escape and get a DPIP, which is terrible, which is dumb. The ranking system doesn't measure if you win the game or not. It's stupid. It's stupid, 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 stupid. And then the matchmaking system, trash. You can fucking match with low ranks, or you could get matched with ranks higher than you. Everybody knows how bad that is. That's beating a dead horse at this point. It's getting fixed. Moving on from those two. Number 20, fire the balance team. The people balancing this game right now are fucking trash. Seriously. If anybody isn't fucking... If anyone hasn't heard from the last Q&A yet, somebody asked about Clown again, and they said, okay, is Clown going to get any more changes, or is this the big change you guys are talking about? The developer repeated something that he said before, which is that he still thinks Clown is underrated. He thinks Clown has a lot of hidden potential that people with 8,000 hours in the game aren't finding, which doesn't make any sense. So, oh yeah, that developer definitely knows how to fucking use Clown. And people that play 8,000 hours and they're telling you, hey, Clown's the worst killer in the game. Yeah, you definitely know more than us, dude. Well, you definitely know more than we do. We're just a bunch of idiots, I guess. Yeah, us stupid killer mains, we can fucking play nurse. We can fucking play nurse, big brain nurse, but we can't fucking know how to throw a bottle and then go in the other direction. But we can play nurse and fucking go through the walls and shit. Like, really? You're gonna really tell us that we don't really know the hidden potential of a character that can throw down bottles and then go down another corner and then cut them off? Or get this, Lars, like you said, you could even throw the bottles up at the new map and take loops away the entire one. But we don't know Clown's hidden potential. We're just a bunch of idiots that just think he's the worst killer in the game because we're bad. The guy legitimately thinks Clown is underrated. The head of the balancing team legitimately thinks that Clown is underrated. Like, wow. And that shows you where their heads are at. And additionally, it's very interesting that he thinks Clown is underrated, because I don't know if anybody recalls this, but like 1 year ago from today, I was still a green rank. I was ranked 9. I was ranked 9 when I made my summer tier list last year. And that was when I thought Clown was underrated. I thought Clown was underrated, and I played him a shit ton about a year ago. Because I thought, wow, he can cut off loops, that's super good. But like, that's interesting that the head of the balancing team has the same opinion that I did when I was a green rank. That shows you where their fucking heads are at. They balance around a green rank balancing philosophy. Fire them. They're terrible. Every fucking changes should be analyzed by players of the fucking game. No, dude, I love Clown. I love Clown. I love Clown. I love the character. I think, and like, to be fair, he probably does get too much shit. But like, I still think that if he's not still the worst, he is one of the worst. The gap between him and the other characters might not be as bad as people think it is, but like, he still needs some buffs. We're not done yet. But the guy's like, oh, we're just gonna keep an eye on him. Like, this guy doesn't know anything. And like, the forums are bloated with suggestions about how to fix him. But like the devs think he's in a good spot. They're just gonna keep an eye on him. They think they know more than we do. And it's insulting. Okay, so enough with that. 21. Okay, here's the endgame collapse change that I have. Okay? I like Lars' suggestion about how the endgame collapse should start upon, like, as soon as the last gens are. That's interesting. That's an interesting idea. But my suggestion, I think the mechanic is healthier right now when the survivors are winning. When the survivors are winning, I think the mechanic is kind of doing what it's intended to do. I think on the killer side, the way that they decided to change the fucking hatch mechanic isn't working. Okay, but let's talk now. In order to understand why, let's talk about what the fucking problem with the hatch mechanic always was. The problem with the hatch mechanic before the endgame collapse, besides the obvious hatch standoff, which was really annoying, was the fact that the hatch randomly spawns across the map, and then the survivor just gets it, and it's GG. And you didn't get to 4K, you probably didn't rank up either. Just GG. They got the hatch. Fuck you. Okay? That is a very stupid way to do the last survivor. Okay? Very, very silly. So their solution was the big issue with the hatch mechanic was RNG. So their solution was, okay, now killers can close the hatch. Okay, that sounds great. That sounds great. Okay, now what? Okay, the gates open. No, the gates are allowed to be open. Okay. So how do the gates spawn? RNG. Oh, wait a second. The gates spawn through RNG? Wasn't that everybody's issue with the hatch mechanic? It's still possible for RNG to just screw you and stop you from getting that last guy. And the reason why getting the last guy is important is because of the way the ranking system works right now. If the game valued a 3-man as much as it did a 4-man, this wouldn't matter. But since a 4-man is valued, we need to have a better... Yeah, it's fucking retarded. Okay, so like what they should do, here's what we should do, okay? Hatch mechanic, go bye-bye. Okay? No more hatch mechanic. Get rid of it. The mechanic doesn't work. It's stupid. You can easily work it into the lore too. Like somebody made the hatch because as an alternate escape route. Just say the entity found out about it and got rid of it. Just get rid of the hatch, okay? Here's what they do now. The hatch is gone, right? The endgame collapse immediately starts upon the hook and the death of the third survivor. Okay? And the survivor has 2 minutes to live. Like, whatever, like, everyone see horror movies, slashers, whatever happened to the concept of a final chase? Like, in this game, like, you can't really do a final chase in this, because if you hit them, they get a speed boost, and they'll find the hatch and get out. Like, that's how it works right now. Or, like, a lot of times, like, the survivor, if the survivor knows that you are, that you found them at the exit gate, they'll just give up and let you kill them. Like, whatever happened to the concept of a final chase? Here's what you do. They have 2 minutes to live. Yeah, they have 2 minutes to live. And the amount of pallets on the map gets restored by the amount of generators that they did times 10. So it's like, if they got one gen done, yeah, it'll make them greedy for pallets. But he's like, it could do that, but like, you know, kind of give them something. But like, that's it. Like, if they did one gen, 10% of pallets are restored. 2 gens, 20. 3 gens, 30. 40, and then I guess maybe 50 doesn't really work. So like a maximum about 40% of pallets will be restored. And if they complete that, well, it'll give them something. It'll give them something. They now have 2 minutes to live, and every time that they are outside of a 32-meter range of you, you get to see their aura / they get a noise notification. Like they have to actually be engaging with you. Non-interaction shouldn't be fucking countered. Now I like it when survivors suffer too, dude. But like I want people to meet me halfway with this mechanic. I want the fucking, like, I am willing to like let them have all of this so this mechanic could get in. Because I want something better than what we got right now. And this would be better than what we got right now. And so like every time they're outside of a 32-meter range of you, they would get their aura revealed to you. But like it's outside of a 32-meter range, so it can't be cheesed. Because like you could obviously go, okay, well if I'm the Wraith, I don't have a tear radius. Like it's not linked to your tear radius. It's just outside of 32 meters. Like they have to actually be interacting with you. They can't just win the game by not doing anything anymore. Because right now the hatch mechanic encourages non-interaction. No mechanic in this game should encourage non-interaction. It's stupid. It's stupid when we have mechanics in the game that encourage survivors to not interact with the killer. Silly. It makes for boring gameplay. Boring, and it also leads to survivors teabagging you when they don't deserve it. That's gotta go too, dude. And then also to prevent cheesing on the killer side, if the survivors slugged upon the endgame collapse starting, they instantly get 2 health states. They get an adrenaline with 2 health states restored, so it can't be cheesed. The point is that it can't be cheesed. It has to be legit. And also, no ed wouldn't trigger, so you couldn't instant down them unless you had something like Devour Hope or Tier 3 Myers or an actual instant down built into your kit. Like, because like Devour Hope would still be there because you have Devour Hope. That's fair. So the point is, this is a fair mechanic. It has stuff on both sides. It eradicates all RNG out of the fucking game. And then like this would be way better than just, oh, the survivor got the hatch, you lost, or the killer ran to the exit gates that were really close together and got you. Like this involves actually outplaying the last guy, and it would be both. It would be really fun. It would be really fun. Like upon being the last guy, you could get 2,500 BP for being the last guy. You could be like called Final Survivor Scoring Event, 2,500 BP, and like Killer actually got the 3K, so it's like Final Chase, 2,500 BP. Like you could give it a scoring event, and then give more BP to the last guy. Like, this would be way fucking better than you know, the nothing we have right now. The system we have in place right now is lazy, RNG-based garbage that behavior should be absolutely ashamed of. How they can live with themselves when they play this game, I don't know. Because it's just a fucking disaster. So yeah, that's how you fix the endgame collapse. Okay, next. Remove the blindness status effect. Okay? The blindness status effect is terrible. Nobody runs it. Nobody uses it. Nobody runs anything that's attached to it. Get it out of the game. It's garbage. It's just garbage. Behavior's crappy status effects are terrible. And no killer ever runs around applying these dumbass, shitty, retarded, non-impactful status effects that don't add shit to the game. Nobody uses race add-on that gives blindness. Nobody does that. Because the blindness status effect is garbage. Nobody runs Hex the Third Seal. Because it's garbage. The blindness status effect is terrible. Undetectable? No, okay, undetectable is alright. Oblivious is bad. So here's what you do, though. Well, first of all, Oblivious needs to just work like undetectable. Right now, you can still see the killer's aura when you're oblivious, which is stupid. But like, the point is, everything that says blindness, just change it to oblivious and then buff oblivious. Yeah. Object of Obsession does not counter undetectable, no. Because you can't see Tier 1 Myers, Ghostface, Pig, or Wraith anymore. They made sure to go get rid of that. Object of Obsession counters Oblivious. You buff Oblivious to make Object of Obsession and all the aura reading perks, because that's what you would do by making blindness a part of it. Because the one thing that blindness is good for would actually now be attached to Oblivious status effect, so you could apply it with things like Deathbound and make, like, seriously, if you're healing somebody with Object of Obsession and then became Oblivious because you healed somebody for 45 seconds, Deathbound could counter Object of Obsession. How fucking sick would that be? It would let the perk do something. It would let, like, Hex the Third Seal could make the, like, think about it. If you had Hex the Third Seal, it was a Hex perk, right? And every survivor was oblivious, couldn't see the killer's aura, couldn't hear your terror radius, couldn't see your red stain. There's a fucking Hex perk right there, ladies and gentlemen. Trail of Torment should be reworked. Yes, it should. But, like, there you go, right there. That would make Hex the Third Seal a lot better. It would make Blindness, it would make Oblivious a lot better. Because, wow, like, it would still be a little redundant on, like, Wraith, so you could get rid of that add-on. But, like, Oblivious, like, you could easily work that into some characters' base kits and their add-ons. It would help Freddy deal with Object of Obsession, because you would buff being oblivious, like a real Hex Totem. I know, dude. A Hex Totem that can take care. Dude, if they made the Third Seal apply Oblivious to everybody and then buffed Oblivious, like, there's a Hex perk right there. It would turn fucking Oni into Ghostface. Like, that would be sick. That would be a fucking Hex perk. A perk that is insanely impactful on the match as long as it's in the game. That's a Hex perk. So that's what you do with Blindness. You make it, you change it to Oblivious and then buff Oblivious to make it do something. Next, you buff Hemorrhage. Another crappy status effect nobody uses. Survivors with Hemorrhage status effect should lose 5% movement speed and get a 5% debuff to all actions that progress the game, such as healing and fixing generators. You have a fucking Hemorrhage. Why are you able to move? Like, seriously. Increase blood, like, they could fucking make Hemorrhage do something. If you make survivors with Hemorrhage not be able to move as well, it makes looping easier. It makes Hemorrhage an anti-looping status effect, which would actually be fucking decent. It would make the Hemorrhage status effect do something. Like, can you imagine fucking Blood Echo? They get Hemorrhage and Exhaustion? And you buffed Hemorrhage to make them lose movement speed, and then they can't use Dead Hard? If they stay injured, that makes them heal. That would turn Blood Echo into an instant meta perk on Ghostface and the Wraith. It would actually fucking keep the meta changing. Because, like, okay, well now Ghostface and the Wraith have a way to get rid of the exhaustion perks if they don't heal, which is what counters them right now. It would continue to buff these characters and give them new tricks. Like, it would make Blood Echo a better perk, because the perk would actually stall the generators. Because it would make Hemorrhage do something, instead of, you know, nothing. Even Deathslinger could use that. Yeah, dude. Anything that's... Deathslinger loves passive pressure, because he can't fucking move. Like, Hemorrhage needs to do something. Hemorrhage and Blindness do nothing right now. Why can't we rework these crappy status effects to make them do something? Like, why does behavior like just having these crappy status effects in the game doing nothing? They don't do anything, dude. Make these status effects worth something. Make killers that have them in their kit and they don't ever run them. Like, doesn't Clown have an add-on that gets Blindness? Hold on. I don't know, do we? I don't know if we have one of those or not. I don't know, I avoid all blindness add-ons in the Blood Web because they're useless. Clown does have one for blindness? Does he have one for hemorrhage? Kerosene bottle. Okay, so he does. Okay, so yeah. Like, that's useless. Like, make this shit do something, dude. Make it impact the meta. How hard is it? Next, number 24. Rework the hex mechanic. Okay? So how do you rework the hex mechanic? Okay? This is a problem. The problem with the hex mechanic is that it's one of the things in the game that relies on RNG. Okay? RNG is the worst thing in this game, and nothing that ever impacts it is good. Okay? So how do we fix the hex totems? I actually saw a really, really good idea, but they didn't commit all the way with it, because they just made hexes too weak. Okay? Okay, so what you need to do, the biggest drawback of a hex perk is that, number one, the original idea of what a hex perk isn't here anymore, except on Devour Hope. That being high risk, high reward, right? That was the quote-unquote idea of a hex perk, okay? But all the hex perks in this game, as they currently are right now, are fucking garbage. And we all know it. When the best hex totem is the one that relies on being cleansed, that means the mechanic is in serious trouble. Seriously. It's the best hex perk is the one that breaks the rules of the mechanic. The one that when the perk is cleansed, being haunted ground, then it does something versus it does something while it's up. Okay? So how do we fix this mechanic? Like that, because the mechanic is clearly in trouble and needs help. This RNG and no matter how much you hide them, it's still bad. And like here's the problem with hiding hex totems. Whenever you find a really good spot for a hex totem, the person that finds it will never forget it again. For example, there's a really good spot on Shitslinger's map. It's like really tucked in between logs. I found it with my girlfriend when we were just kind of exploring the map. It's like, I'll never forget that spawn as long as I live now, because it was a really good spawn. There was a really good place to hide a totem. So it's like, I'll never forget that spawn as long as I live. But if you make them too, like, not hidden, they get cleansed in 2 seconds. So it's like, it becomes an instant problem that the mechanic has, that it's instantly not there anymore. Okay, so we have a combination of terrible perks, all the perks are shit, and then the mechanic in itself doesn't work. So what do? Make it so all hexes, instead of getting completely taken out of the game when they're cleansed, you nerf them when they're cleansed. That's how it works now. For example, okay, let's go look at Ruin. Let's go look at Ruin, okay? Where's Ruin? I have Ruin 3 on Hag, right? Okay, let's look at Ruin. Repairs at 200%, okay? So the Ruin gets in the game, right? Ruin's there, okay? And then the perk gets cleansed. That immediately takes the regression progress, you cut it back down to half. You make it Hex Ruin 3, as soon as you cleanse the totem, it would turn it back to Hex Ruin 1. That's what it would do. And for everybody who doesn't know, all Hex Ruin 1 does is do it at base regression. Like 100% of what is 100% of 1? 1. So like 100% of the normal regression speed is just the normal regression speed. All Hex Ruin 1 does is make it so the killer doesn't have to kick generators. That's all it does. That's all. So like once you take out the hex, all that the Ruin would be doing for the killer is making it so that the killer doesn't have to kick a generator anymore, which is a laughable perk. Devour Hope. Okay, what do to Devour Hope? Okay, as soon as it gets cleansed, all the killer would get is a 5% haste status effect. You wouldn't be able to instant down or mori anybody anymore after it got cleansed. All you would have is a 5% haste status effect. That would be your totem. And then, okay, what's another one? Hex the third seal. Instead of hitting 4 people with blindness, you would hit 2. Like it would make these perks weaker. So instead of taking them out of the game, they would still be doing something for you. Because right now they just don't do anything. Like except the fact that the RNG behind the totem mechanic is just bad and will be bad forever. Make the totems do something when they're fucking cleansed instead of being taken out of the game permanently. That's what you do. Like seriously, that would fix ruined surveillance. Because what people like using Ruin for is combining it with surveillance, right? If you combine, like, it would keep Ruin surveillance in the game, which would be really fucking sick. It would make the perk good. And hell, you could even make it when it gets cleansed that it doesn't even combo with surveillance anymore. You're the devs, you can do whatever you want. There's ways to fucking fix this mechanic, dude. 25, fix Mori's and Keys. Enough said about that one. Mori's and Keys are both bullshit. They're both dishonest. Get them out of the game. They're just terrible, dude. Both of them ruin the game and make it miserable, no matter what side you're on. Trust me, I play with my girlfriend Survivor enough to know that whenever there's a Mori in the game, the match is completely miserable. Get them out of the game. Get them out. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Okay. Trapper. Character specifics. This is the last section. Character specific problems. Trapper. Trapper needs 3 main buffs. Trapper needs 3 buffs. Trapper needs a brown bag base to help him with his early game. Seriously. The character's unplayable without a bag. Making his brown bag base would help him experiment with some of these other add-ons. We could actually combine a tar bottle with the fastening tools, which would be his best combination if a brown bag was just fucking base. Make a brown bag base. Make traps catch dead hard. Dead hard is silly. The fact that dead hard goes over traps is silly and has been silly since the game came out. How long is this? 39 changes. We're on change 26. Yeah, just fucking let Trapper fucking have 2 traps, dude. Just 2. I'm not even asking, just 2. I'm not even asking for 3 or 4 or 5. Just 2. Just 2, please. Ideally, like, if you really wanted to help the character, you would just make him hag and have 10 in his big bag. And then get rid of bag add-ons altogether and make them, and give him 3 new ones. If you really wanted to really help the character, that's what you do. But I'm trying to like meet their design philosophy halfway and giving them realistic suggestions. So, just making brown bag base, and then remove RNG on actually trapping somebody. Why does one person never break out and then one person breaks out in the second? This is a big problem. Make it consistent. Make it consistent. Make it so like you have to break out like 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like. 10 attempts to break out. I don't fucking know. Maybe you could even like make add-ons that actually like tell you how many specifically they would get, and every time they make an attempt they make a noise notification so you know. Like, I'm running the add-on that says 5 attempts need to be made, and then you get a noise notification every time they do it 1, so you know if you can actually get there or not. That would help the character, because it would allow him to manage his time more efficiently, and then he doesn't have to like, oh, I could go get this guy. The guy, he gets to the guy that he just trapped, dead hards to a pallet, and then drops it, and it's like, why did I even bother, dude? I just wasted my time. As soon as you fix, because they already let him reset his traps, and they already fixed the sabotage BS. So those are like the 3 changes Trapper really needs. Okay, Wraith. Okay, I will say this. I think Wraith's actually in a decent spot. Wraith is probably one of the most underrated characters in the game. How do I know that? Ghostface is good. Wraith is he's just a different idea on Ghostface. Ghostface is a top tier. Wraith is inherently in a good spot. That being said, Wraith's biggest problem right now is not his base kit. His base kit's fine. He's a very add-on dependent killer, right? So why are half his add-ons bad? This character needs an add-on This character needs add-on improvements. Considerably reduces the Wraith's disappearance time. This is terrible. Get rid of it. Blindness for 60 seconds. If you're not going to buff blindness, get rid of it. Like this does, like a lot of this stuff doesn't do anything. Like, okay, this one, like these are good. Hey, nerd. But like, okay, this one's not very good, right? He breaks the pallets faster. So what? He's cloaked. I guess you could combine it with this one dumb common one. Get rid of this add-on. So it's that mean blood point one. Uncloak completely when breaking your pallets or damaging gens while cloaked. People have tried to find utility for this one, but it's just not really working. Yeah, but like there's some stuff you can do with it, but like some of this junk, dude. The reappearance time, these are bad. Get rid of them. There's like 6 add-ons you could like get rid of because they're not memes and they're not good. They're just bad. Just get rid of them. So like that's really all he needs is just some add-on tweaks. So that's like, well, I mean, what could you possibly do with him? Well, let's think about this here. He goes really fast, right? That's what he does, and we got the add-on to improve that. So. He doesn't really need a secondary power, I guess. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I'm kind of tired. This isn't really about what we could do. This is kind of the stuff what you would do on him. But like disappearance time is just trash. Maybe you could like make add-ons to buff his hitbox. How about an add-on that? How about a green add-on that makes him immune to flashlight light burns? How about that? There you go. What's up, my guy? But it's like, yeah, how about that? How about you give him instead of having another add-on that reduces the disappearance time, how about you give him a fucking add-on that makes him immune to light burns? There you go. So if you see 4 flashlights, you can just fucking, if you see a group with 5 flashlights in there, you can just stick a flashlight add-on on them. That'd be good. Kind of similar you could do with Hag. Because like I'm gonna say something similar to Hag, but like give these characters stuff options to counter their hard counters, please. Okay, so moving on. Billy's fine. Billy's fine. He's got some kind of dumb add-ons, but that's okay. Billy's like this add-on needs to get tweaked. He also needs some some of those ultra rares, so he's not done with the add-ons yet. But like, there's nothing in here that like sticks out that kind of needs that really needs changed. Besides, I guess this one, long guy bar, kind of needs change, and then I guess speed limiter is a meme. I don't know. I would get rid of this one. It's dumb. And then. This needs fixed. They should do something with Thompson's Moonshine, but like, I don't really like these noise ones either. But like, you know, they have some utility. But yeah, not much to say. Nurse has a lot of retarded add-ons. The only thing I say to Nurse is give her some fucking new add-on ideas, okay? Well, I think one of the more underrated concepts on her would be, like, changing her movement speed. One of my favorite add-on ideas on paper is fucking... Need some more for console. Yeah, some optimization stuff. This one's alright. Well, where's the one that, like... Look at this one. Blinking past the survivor causes them to scream and awards 200 points, and the DB is just like, what does that do, dude? That doesn't do anything. Like, I like this one. 4.2 reduces 1 blink. So you're going like 4.2, which is a lot faster, but you get 1 blink charge. And then there's one that she actually hits a blink, and she can... There it is. Hitting a survivor with a blink will set her movement speed to 4.6 for 60 seconds. Like, that's pretty neat. Isn't there a yellow version of that too? Like, that's actually kind of neat. Maybe if it disables her ability to blink. How about one that, like, she hits a blink attack and then she gets, like, I don't know, this one, where she gets 1 blink and then she gets 110 movement speed. Something like that. Just kind of make playing her more interesting and giving her some multiple options. Which, again, nothing's ever gonna, like, be better than just blinking. But, like, it would certainly be better than, like, the crap was, like... decreases the lunge distance, an add-on that actually makes her harder. Like, stupid shit like that shouldn't be here. I feel like all these add-ons that are for learning her should be common. Like, this is an add-on that helps you learn her. Like, you hit a blink and then you get rewarded by actually playing the killer you know. Like, it's a good gateway into learning how to play her. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like her common add-ons should be more add-ons like this that like lets you in to actually playing her, and then just give her some more of those, dude, and then make all the greens and all of these add-ons actually the ones that you would actually meta play on her, I guess. That's what I would do with her. Okay, so that's it for Nurse. Hag, add-on adjustments, add-on adjustments, add-on adjustments, add-on adjustments, please. Get rid of this crappy add-on where it's like, where is that one? The range. These fucking crappy range family of add-ons. These add-ons are really, really bad. And, like, Jesus, like, they suck. Get rid of them. How about an add-on that makes her Phantasm attack, like, spawn an AI that chases you? How about that? It has a cooldown of 60 seconds, and you can press L. You can, like, instead of teleporting, you can press L2 instead of L1, and then the Phantasm would spawn an AI that would chase you. That way, she could be in two places at once. That'd be kind of neat. Or like you could even make that in a rare one, because like look at this fucking one. Survivors suffered from the hindered status effect. Increases it to, like, what? It's 108 movement speed? Like, wow, you could be Freddy with 108 movement speed. And you're not even Freddy because you actually have to go with the time of setting the animation. Like, this is trash. This is trash. This is trash. What the hell does this do? Disfigured ear. Like, fucking go look at this and fucking rework some of this crap to make it better. How about you fucking make it one where it's like, okay, hold on, like, make one where the Phantasm trap, like, maybe not, like, not even just a full AI, like, it can just, like, walk. Maybe that could fool survivors a bit, I don't know. Make it walk to a survivor but not actually attack them. You know, that would kind of get them off gens, and it'd be like, wow, which one's he running? Like she has one AI that just can kind of chase you, and then one that can, like, not. Like, what are you gonna do? Just, like, I mean, when the survivors figure out which one it is, they would. But, like, you know, it's certainly better than, you know, nothing, which is, like, again, all these ones I want changed are the ones doing nothing. Because a lot of these are doing nothing. So, like, just anything that's not nothing would be better. Next. Who is next? Myers? No, Doctor. Doctor's fine, leave him the way he is. Myers. Oh, boy. Oh, fucking boy. I've talked about Myers here before on the channel, about what I think he needs, what's wrong with them. So this will be reiterating some stuff. Myers' early game is trash. Alright, how you fucking fix it, this is very simple. Alright. First of all, add-on rework. Myers is a killer whose add-ons need to be looked at. Like, for example, what the hell is this? Not Scratch Mirror, Jesus. The other one. Vanity Mirror. What the hell is Vanity Mirror? That's trash. Get rid of it. Do we really... the purple one in the bow family. The one that, like, increases the amount of evil required to reach evil within 3 for the first time. That one. The fucking purple one. What is that? Jewelry box. What the hell is this? A jewelry. What the hell is this? Tacky earrings. What the fuck is this garbage? Like, trash. Just terrible. Just terrible. What could you do with it? How about an add-on that gives him his collision back while he's stalking? There you go. Tacky earrings. Have collision on stalking for 10 seconds. Not even that. Like, have tacky earrings. Your character retains collision when stalking. That way, you could actually get a lot of stalk if you cornered somebody. Because right now, when you stalk, your collision goes away. They can get through you. How about you give them an add-on like, okay, how about, and then jewelry box could be permanently retains collision when stalking. Jewelry retains collision when stalking for 10 seconds. So, like, that way, if you corner somebody with a jewelry box, it's a free down. Like, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm fixing Myers for everybody. Okay? So, like, just some add-on improvements. Or, next, he needs some base buffs, too. Buff Tier 1 to give it 110 movement speed. That way, Tier 1 is a weakness, not a is a resource, again, not a weakness. Because 110 with no red stain, no terror radius, that's better than 105. You could actually use that. You could actually use that way easier. You would be able to get around the map faster, and you would actually be able to use Tier 1 in a chase because grabbing's so unreliable. Also, I also think he needs sped up just a little bit, and the way that I decided to do that was I think Judas Journal, as it is right now, could be base. You get an obsession, and then you considerably increase the rate that you stalk the obsession. I think that could be a base add-on on him. That could be worked into his base kit. Because, like, it's fucking Myers. The dude has an obsession in all of his movies. It would just work, dude. It would help him speed up a little bit if he stalks the right survivor. Like, giving him this add-on base would definitely help him out. I think. So, yeah, 110 movement speed. Speed him up when he's in Tier 1. Make Judas Journal base, and then buff his add-ons. Next, I'm not done yet. Tier 3 Myers gets Enduring/Brutal Strength for free, and every time he's stunned by a pallet, the duration of Tier 3 is increased by 5 seconds. There you go. Makes survivors a little less eager to drop down pallets on your head when you're in Tier 3. Now, you don't have to give him full Enduring and full Brutal Strength. A full 50% might be a bit excessive, but, like, how about 25% or 35% of Enduring? Like, you get Enduring Tier 1, which I believe is, what is that, isn't that 40%? Or maybe, like, you don't need, like, just, like, and make him kick pallets faster. Give Tier 3 something beyond just a lunge that actually helps him out in the chase. Once you do that, he'll be a fucking great character, dude. Also, you could actually, like, kind of make him, well, Oni's a reverse. Okay, when Oni downs somebody when he's in Demon Fury, he loses his power. But Myers could actually gain it since he can't move as fast. So whenever you down somebody in Tier 3, you could actually get Evil Within extended by 5 seconds, so you go with the Infectious Fright build. You know what I mean? That would help him with his map pressure. Because Oni may lose it, but Myers doesn't have Demon Dash. Oni does, so Oni can get places faster. So it, like, balances that out inherently. I don't fucking know. These are just some ideas. Some of these I'm just actually making up on the spot. So that's what I do with Myers. Basically make him more lethal in Tier 3 and improve his early game. That's what I would do to him. Next, Huntress. Huntress is fine. Leave her as is. She's got some dumb add-ons that are bad with status effects. Like, she's got some blazy add-ons. So you can possibly look at some of this shit. But overall, this is not the squeaky wheel. She's very good. Oh God. Oh my God. Okay. Before we go into Leatherface, I actually have a lot to say here. So I'm gonna get another drink before we cover this fucking bitch. Oh boy. Fucking Leatherface, dude. Okay, Leatherface. Okay. Leatherface. His power, the chainsaw, should have a gauge. Like Legion and Spirit. Upon colliding with a pallet / a survivor, the gauge refills and the power starts over after a brief delay. Okay, what that means is I would change it how it works for survivors and pallets. For survivors, it should just be the way it works now. You should just keep going, and that's the gauge would refill. When you hit a pallet, you like are stopped briefly before you like raise it back up and then start going again. They have to actually make a new animation. I know behavior wouldn't like that, but like, it gives the survivor time to like make a bit more distance before you can come at them again. But just like it makes pallets not that safe. It makes windows this big weakness, and it would still be limited because of how the power works anyway when it comes to pallets. Well, I haven't dealt with his add-ons yet. This is his base kit. His base kit's trash. Just give him, but he smacks a pallet, the gauge refills, and he gets to keep going. That would help him, because it would make those damn pallets less of a big pain in the ass. So it's like, you don't really even need the delay. Just, when he hits the pallet, he can keep going. Because it would make that fucking pallet just not as safe against him, dude. It's really good. Instantly. Okay, we all know how to play with your food, and Nemesis are good on him, right? Well, why does he need that to be an add-on? Why does he need perks to do that? Let's build something like that into his base kit. Upon being stunned with a pallet, chainsaw movement speed increases while charging and while moving. Now, if anybody doesn't know, when Leatherface is charging his chainsaw, his movement speed decreases to 89%. 89%. And you have to hold this thing for like a good 2 to 3 seconds, so you lose a ton of distance on a survivor. How about every time you're stunned by a pallet, like let's just say you get 5% every time he's stunned by a pallet, maximum 3 tokens, because that's play with your food. He would get 15% more movement speed if he's been stunned by 3 pallets, taking it up to 100 and, what is that, 104? So he would be moving faster than you while charging, and then his chainsaw would be 125. That would be like, what, 140% while he's moving with his chainsaw? And then once he gets down, it resets. It would reset the tokens again. It would allow him to actually down an anti-loot more consistently, which would help him out. That's really all I can really say about him, though. Add-ons, complete add-on rework. Okay? Award-winning chili, the worst add-on in the fucking game. Everybody knows it's, like, bugged. Rusted chain, trash. Okay, grizzly chain and grime chain, what you do to that is 90 seconds while not on a hook. 90 seconds while not on a hook, 180 seconds while not on a hook. Because these are bad because once you put them on a hook, the timer still keeps going down. Rework this crap. Noise made by chainsaw doesn't do anything on Leatherface. This crap doesn't do anything on him. Get rid of the fucking speed limiter. Same thing I said with Billy. Give his add-ons, make him have more incentive to leave the hook. Program more incentive for him to leave the hook into his add-on kit. There you go. Like, award-winning chili. Upon beginning with here's what you do with award-winning chili. You run it into that kit. I said, upon starting a chase with a survivor, you get 5% movement speed just for free. It awards you a token just for like starting the chase. So there you go. But then you program it to where it doesn't give you it doesn't work. If you're near the hook. There you go. Like if you down somebody near a hook, you lose a token. Or something. I don't know what you would do, but like you would help them fix that, or just trust the fact that they won't camp. But upon starting a chase with the survivor, you instantly get 1 token. That's what you can do with the award-winning chili. That would take it from 89 to 94 instantly. There you go. 94% movement speed while charging the saw, and 130% while you're moving with it. There you go. There's a fix for award-winning chili right there. It would help all this stuff do something. And like all these add-ons would still like help. Like it would help. They would still help him. These would need to get reworked though, because they would kind of be built into his base kit already. But so like, there's stuff you can do though. That's my point. Complete rework. Complete rework. Next. Freddy's fine. I wish they would revisit some of his add-ons. His add-ons like blindness, 60 seconds, terrible. Fucking where is it? The one that does hemorrhage. This one, terrible. Hemorrhage for 60 seconds. They will bleed for the duration of the hemorrhage status effect. What the hell's that doing for Freddy Krueger? Maybe tracking, maybe. But yeah, trash. Which is sad because this was one of his better ones back when it was old Freddy. But but just revisit some of this stuff. How about one that makes him undetectable in the dream world instead of so counter object? How about that? Instead of oblivious, instead of a survivor being oblivious, he's undetectable. You can make that fucking Z block. Get fucking creative, dude. Get fucking creative. How about an add-on that gives him snares and pallets together? How about an add-on that lets him see the aura of a survivor? What? How about this? This is the one where he can't cancel it, right? Make another one like this to where he can't cancel his dream projection anymore, but he gets an effect where he can see your aura upon coming out of the dream projection. There you go. That'd be cool. Like you could make that a unicorn block, or you could maybe make that Z block. You would be able to, but just his add-ons are so lazy and so uncreative. Like I could fucking rework all these add-ons and make them better secondly. Like you just give me like a day with this character, I could make all of his add-ons better. Like for a rework, his add-ons are very, very lazy. So please fix his add-ons. Trash. Oh God. Pig is so bad. Okay, here's what you do with Pig. Here's how she works, alright? We'll do the simple changes first. Make the ambush dash longer. You know how many times I get the right read on the guy, and then I'm not rewarded because my character's dash just wasn't long enough? Just make it, like, give me one more second while in dash. Or maybe, like, a half a second. Just give me one buff to where ambush to make it more distance. Okay, and then make rule set number 2 base. That's a lot of Pig players request that change. I agree with it. They can't see a jigsaw box auras until the trap is active. That would help that would help them keep the trap on longer. Should keep them out of the game a bit longer. Please make that base on her. Next, if you don't know how her power works, the way it works is that before the match, the RNG, it's not every trap doesn't go to one box. All right, every key could be in the same jigsaw box. Okay, but so that's how it works. It's very complicated. But how I would do it is that it doesn't fucking matter which box they search. One bear trap should be aligned to the first one they check, one to the second, one to the third, one to the fourth. That way, you are getting some consistent mileage with this character. That way, not everybody is taking the trap off instantly one match, and then everyone's keeping it on the whole time the next. It's giving her consistency. It's adding some consistency to her gameplay, which is what she needs to be buffed. Just like fucking hell, dude. Because like her inconsistency just kills her right now. It ruins her. Makes her not fun at times, dude. Rework Amanda's letter. I don't like this add-on. Get rid of its drawback. Get rid of its drawback. It's an ultra rare. It doesn't need a drawback. How about increased crouch movement speed? What is she at? Like 90? Make it like 100. Increase crouch movement speed. Give her an add-on that gives her a premonition. Like, you know how survivors have premonition and spine chill? How about you give Pig an add-on that gives her a notification when she's in the range of a survivor, where she like an add-on that tells her when to crouch, essentially. That way you could take off monitor and abuse and whispers on her. A lot of these builds would be able to take that out. How about you make that an add-on? Like, there's so many things you could do with her. Besides give her hemorrhage when a trap is on her. Like, stupid. Like, this add-on's retarded. I got 16 of them because I never fucking use it. It's terrible. What's this one do? Oh, okay. But yeah, like, hemorrhage when they have a trap on. Who the hell cares, dude? Who the hell is fucking gonna run that? I saw somebody ran that against me one day and I laughed. Clown. Alright, clown. The idea I have of clown is this. Make clown's terror radius 24 meters. That's how you give him more map pressure. You don't need to make him have a secondary power to give him more map pressure. Just decrease his terror radius. That way we can slap on monitor and abuse and turn him into Michael Myers. We can give him a 16-meter terror radius if we just fucking lowered his terror radius by 8 meters. And look what that would do for him. That would give him access to nurse's calling. A 16-meter terror radius stealthy clown? That would be so sick, dude. So it's like, oh shit, he's right on me. He threw a bottle at me. I can't even get to this pallet. He would be really good at keeping out-positioned people out-positioned. Combine that with some of these add-ons that he has, like this, with like the solvent jug. It would stop people from being able to like dead hard after they get called out in the open. But making him have a lower terror radius has a lot of synergy with his kit, and I wish they would do it. There's no drawback. Like, even in this trailer, he's stalking Kate, and she doesn't see him. So like, it even makes sense with the lore they already have that he should have a low terror radius. Next, I have a bit. In order to save him some time, I have a change on him called acidic decay. Okay, my idea is that when he throws a bottle, any pallet that is hit directly with a bottle will decay over 30 seconds. That way, when he wants to kick a pallet, all he has to do is throw a bottle at it, and then he can move on. That's all he would have to do. One bottle to decay a pallet over 30 seconds. It would still be usable, but just after 30 seconds, it would just be gone. It would save him some time, increase his map pressure, and just like there's really no downside to it. It would help him get around the map faster. It would help him in a chase because you wouldn't have to kick every pallet, but you would still be able to get rid of the pallet and create dead zones. So just like reduce his terror radius and then give him that acidic decay ability, and then we have a character here, a character with a lot of potential. If they just gave him 1 or 2 changes. So I really have to say, I wish they would rework some of his shit. I wish they would just kind of take a look at some of these add-ons on him. Like this one, VHS porn. I wish they'd take a look at that. But we're still kind of experimenting because now that the feathers are gone, they're not mandatory. We can actually experiment with him again. So like I'm still kind of collecting data with him. But like those are the changes I think would be really nice on him. Spirit is absolutely fine. Just leave her alone. Just leave her alone. Legion. Oh boy. I have a lot to say about this one. Okay? First thing I'm gonna say, add-on improvements. Legion is some of the worst add-ons in the game. Frank's mixtape. Reduces deep wound timer. Okay, you have to hit like 7 times to actually get it down with this. It's trash, doesn't do anything, rework it. This decreases this one. Decreases deep wound timer so they have to mend faster. Who cares? They can mend infinitely if they just run. Like he's like, and then like this yellow one is not very good. Mangled for 60 seconds. Who cares? Who cares, dude? You can just run sloppy. You don't need this. These cooldown durations don't really do much. Blindness for 60 seconds. Like these are just terrible, dude. Like these are just really bad. He's got some other garbage ones that are sitting that I don't have, but like he's Really bad add-ons. So just fucking change these add-ons. Like, okay, what could you do with some of these? How about increase movement speed while in frenzy? There you go. There's a family you could do. How about you change this fucking trash deface smiley pin to increase movement speed while in frenzy? How about that? Which I believe was actually an add-on on Nerfed Legion, but not sure. Okay, but my big change for Legion would be this. I just named this. Okay, it's very it's called like tag in, tag out. Okay, my idea for the Legion is that there's 4 of them, right? So why are they all 4 not in the game at the same time? Why? Can somebody give me a reason other than that there's one killer and that's tradition? Okay, so here's what you do. Legion has 4 members. Every member is assigned to a button, right? X, square, triangle, 0, and then of course that corresponds to something on Xbox, Switch, and PC. But every member of the Legion is assigned to a corresponding button. They each have their own starting points and their own cooldowns. Okay, what you would do, it would kind of work like Freddy does, where he holds his hand up for a second and then waits a second and then he teleports. So like, if you want to, like, you start the game as Frank, and if you want to turn into Susie, you press square and hold it for 4 seconds, and then you instantly turn into Susie. Frank disappears, goes on cooldown, and he has like a badge where you left him. The survivors can see that badge. They know that's where Frank is. Okay, and then you cannot turn into Frank again for 60 seconds. That's the idea. So then you turn into Susie, game starts over. So like you start setting each member and start set playing and go to very specific places. And then if you want to instantly change, I have it in Frenzy, they can instantly change. They can instantly tag out. They don't have to wait. So that way you could, like, if you stab somebody with Frenzy and you see that the other guy is like across the map, you could transport to the closest one and then instantly continue the Frenzy. It would still have the same cooldown, so like it would still have, like, it wouldn't refill the gauge, but like it would still, like, you would still be in the Frenzy. And like the idea of this is, like, if you're at a loop chase or something, you could like try to bait them. I don't know if the 5 seconds would kill it, but like maybe 3 seconds. But like you could still, like, you could mind game them and then change into one of the members that you already have there. Like you could put one on one side of the palette, one on the other side. Okay, like this is still a huge work in progress in terms of what I'm thinking about. But like the point is, it would help their map pressure because like boom, barbecue, you instantly turn into one of the members that's across the map and then able to kick this gen. You could swap to another one and then pressure this guy. Like there's so many possibilities that you could actually do here. They would be kind of like Dream Witch from Identity 5, where you could even make each Legion member have an obsession, like Identity 5's Dream Witch, and like they could each see the aura of one survivor. But I don't know if the maps are big enough for that. That's an idea I just had. That might not actually work. Maybe the aura of one survivor every minute or something for a second. Like just something to like keep the flow of their plays moving. And then you would keep Frenzy exactly as it is. Just stuff like that. I feel like that could be really cool. They would have a very unique feel and a very unique style to them. That would actually be a hard killer because there would be a lot to keep track of. That's interesting, unique character design. That's not in this fucking game. And then, the last change I have for Legion is... Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot this. Survivors will see the auras of the spawn points on non-active members. So, like, if you're running past Frank's spawn point, you'll be able to see it as a survivor, so you know it's there. Okay, next. If 3 survivors have a deep wound, this is the change that is probably more likely to get in, if one of these goes in. If 3 survivors have a deep wound and you stab the 4th one, I turn that into an instant down. My reason for that is right now, when Legion's stabbing somebody with, like, he's not working towards anything. He's just working towards, okay, well, how could I come out of this and go and suffer through my 4-second cooldown, okay, and then actually get it down? How can I do that? But with this, it's like, you might not even have to worry about that. If there's 3 survivors deep wounded and you stab the 4th one, it's an instant down. It wouldn't be very good. It would just be an interesting buff for the character. Or you can make it so if you hit 3 survivors in Frenzy, the next one you hit goes down. Like, something to, like, buff his lethality with his power again would actually be super neat. His power's jukeable now, so, like, this restriction could be placed on it, and it would be alright. I think that would be a super neat thing you could do, but that's just me. Alright, Plague. Plague's add-ons are in a good spot. Just her base kit needs some work. The biggest change on Plague is that when you puke, alright, if you, like, pretend you, like, puke, you swipe, okay? Has anybody ever swiped the camera and, like, this huge puke thing goes out? You puke in, like, a line of puke, like, goes out. If that line of puke hits a tree, the entire line is canceled out. All of it. If you hit a tree, any puke that is not hitting the tree is still canceled out, but it hits the tree. That is not how physics works. That is nonsense. Just go watch some of my Plague games, you'll see, or just watch Plague play in general. You'll notice it. You'll be like, well, physics says that should have hit her, because the tree wouldn't have stopped all of that puke, which is accurate. So that shouldn't happen here. Next thing I do, I speed her up. Base infection rate increased. She's too slow. She's just too slow. Just whenever you hit somebody with Vile Purge, just instead of making it like an entire Vile Purge, make it like 80% of a Vile Purge. Just slightly increase that infection rate. Get her going. Get her started faster. Next, all 6 survivors are exhausted. Right now, not being sick is just not good enough right now. That's our biggest problem. There's no incentive for cleansing. Exhaustion might be a good incentive to actually cleanse. Get rid of those dead hards. Get rid of those balance landings. Get rid of those sprint bursts. If you're sick, you don't get them. And it makes sense, because when you're sick, you can't really do the things you can do when you're not sick. So it's like, why should they be able to run really fast with balance landing when they're sick? It doesn't even make sense, like, from that perspective. Next, all six survivors have a base gen speed debuff. Just kind of make Thano base on her and make her more effective. It's just like 3%, just an extra Thana stack. So instead of making it, or 4%, so Thana can get you up to 20. Just something to help her out just a little bit, and then not punish people as hard when you're not running Thana, I guess. But yeah, just buff her, and the biggest buff she needs is the if the puke hits a tree, all of it's canceled out. That's very silly. If a strand hits the tree, it should not all be canceled. That's retarded. But yeah, that exhaustion buff on her would actually be quite nice too. So I would like to see that go in. Next, Ghostface. Ghostface doesn't really need any changes. He doesn't really need any changes. The way he's played right now is actually fine. However, I will always say he's one of the worst design characters in the game. His design is terrible. You don't play him like he's supposed to be played, because the instant down is silly. The instant down is silly. It will always be silly. Nurses calling it sloppy. Just call them out when they're healing. Use your terror radius to sneak around the map. Don't fucking stalk anybody. It's stupid. So, like, what you should do is you should rework these add-ons to actually kind of go with that style, okay? And here's how you give them a new mechanic. I call it a fright mechanic, okay? I just call it the fright mechanic. Instead of doing stupid things like considerably increasing the rate at which a survivor becomes marked, or like how long they stay marked, what you could do is instead of actually exposing them, which again, this could be base, or you could just make it add-ons, because the add-ons are bad, except for like 4. What you could do with them is it could be like, okay, instead of exposing them, I stalked them, they got marked, they're now frightened. And like they have a new status effect called frightened. And what you would, throughout the entire duration of your frightened, your generators and healing speeds are slower. Simple change, but it makes the stalk like not as dumb, because it's actually doing something for a minute that it's actually on you. You could buff the duration. Instead of it being like 40 seconds, just make it like a minute, or make it 60 to 80 seconds long, and like the entire time that you can frighten somebody and then leave, and then they have a debuff while you chase somebody else. it would actually be like, again, hitting them could instantly get rid of it too, kind of like it does now. But like, it's just like, oh wow, tremendously increases the rate. Wow, that's a really good ultra rare. Like, see, it's silly. Like, this design's silly. Because how bad being marked is right now. If you changed what it did, it might actually be more useful. Because right now it just doesn't do anything because it sucks. And it doesn't work with how you're supposed to play him. Which again, because like a reason that a lot of these add-ons are bad is just because the way that he's played in the meta is not how behavior wants you to play him, because behavior doesn't know how to design characters because they're fucking stupid. Typical shit, dude. But yeah, other than that, he's fine. Let's move on. Demogorgon. Demogorgon needs a complete add-on rework. A complete add-on rework. It's very sad that his best add-ons are commons. It's terrible. It's terrible. It means all this crap is really bad. His add-ons suck. It's the biggest part of why he's so garbage right now. More add-ons to buff Shred. I would have an entire family of add-ons that buff Shred's turning ability. Make Shred able to turn and readjust. How about you make a family of add-ons that make Shred's movement speed slower, but its turning ratio higher? Those would probably be really good on him. Like, instead of him having him shoot off like at hillbilly chainsaw speed, have him go like not as fast as Pig, but faster than Pig, but kind of like Billy, I guess. Make him kind of like a really awkward nerfed Billy, where you could like turn him a little more while he's shredding. That'd be nice. It would actually let you readjust when you've made a mistake, which is like a problem with him right now. He's so linear in his gameplay, which like Survivor's juking is inherently non-linear, so that's why Shred can be hard to hit sometimes. And also he needs to be sped up. His portals suck. So what you do is portals, like, why are, like, these portal add-ons on him are trash. If you want to give him some better portal shit, what you do is you have have a portal spawn near a generator base. Like, have an add-on that says 2 portals spawn near the 2 furthest generators from you base. Active. They spawn active. Or here's another portal add-on. Have it so if the portal has been non-active for 30 seconds, or like you could make that be a purple one, but like if a portal's been non-active for about a minute, that would be a decent yellow one, or even a common. Like you make the yellow 50 seconds. A common could be a minute. Any portal that's been non-active for a minute becomes active. That would just mean so he doesn't have to go through it to start tracking people. That would speed him up a little bit and not make him have to be forced to go across the map if he doesn't want to. The way the character's played right now means he has to go through so many portals when he may not even want to do it. If you gave him an add-on that made his portals activate by themselves, he might actually save some time. He might actually save a bit of time. How about this? Also make it like Torment. Give him an add-on, because he has an add-on that makes him exhausted when they step out of the Torment, right? How about when they step on the damn... not when they're sealing it, when they step on it. If they step on it, he gets a Killer Instinct. Or a noise notification when they step on it. Like, let him improve his tracking, make his portals do something. Buff the add-ons that make him, like, see more on the portal. Where's that one at? He has an add-on that, like... How about buff these undetectable ones? It lasts like 2 seconds. Make it last 10 or 15. Like, make it do something. Yeah, just his add-ons are trash and need reworked. They're the biggest reason he's a bad killer. Please buff his add-ons. Oni is fine. Leave him alone. He's great as is. And then Pyramid Head is fine. Leave him as is too. He's fine. Shit Slinger. Last thing, and then I'm getting out of here. Shit Slinger is filth. This character's fucking wretched. Garbage. He's poop on a pedestal. He's fucking garbage. Like, he's fucking... He gushes mad shit, bro. He's garbage. Okay, so let's talk about what we should do to him. First of all, give him a second bullet. 1 bullet? Really? 2. Give him 2. Or if you give him 2 bullets and increase his movement speed to 115. That would help him. But if you don't want to do that, you can. I have several solutions you can do. If you don't like him having, if you don't like the gun, if the gun is really the reason you don't want to give him 115, here's what you can do. He's a fucking cowboy, right? Give him a goddamn lasso. Make him have a goddamn lasso that works just the same as the Redeemer, except it has a way shorter range but can pull over pallets. Like, it can only, like, it would only work at those shorter loops, but, like, you can, like, give him 115% movement speed at the shorter loops and have a power to, like, kind of toss it over at the survivors, and he can pull them over the pallet. Because the Redeemer isn't good for everything. His gun isn't good for every loop in the game. So hopefully, if you gave him, like, a secondary power that could, like, kind of work in a similar way, like a lasso or something, and then give him... like, his lasso mode could have 115 movement speed. You can have some counterplay for these other loops. You can make it so, like, it doesn't work through windows. So, like, make it be the opposite of the Redeemer. But, like, he's a fucking cowboy, dude. That's what you can fucking do. Like, you can have it could be a much, much smaller range. Also, get rid of some of these add-ons. Nobody cares about the deep wound bullshit. Nobody cares about the speed of the reloading. Yeah, not the speed of the reloading. The speed at which you reel somebody. That doesn't have anything to do with the charges. There needs to be more add-ons like the one that gives you more charges. Like, you should have an entire family of add-ons dedicated to the amount of charges that he saves, or how much more charges it could take out. But instead of that, we get one that's like, hey, dude, you want this one? Rickety chain. Survivors break free easier. There's less charges required. Like, that's stupid. That's a stupid add-on. It's a very, very stupid, silly add-on, dude. It's like the most insulting thing about this one is the fact that this is a family of add-ons he desperately needs, like make it harder to break free, but instead he only has one. He has just as many add-ons that makes it easier for the survivors to break free as he does making it harder, which is the family of add-ons he really desperately needs. But yeah, this killer's trash. He needs way more crap than he has. Oh, wow, I've talked way too much. Though that's everything. That's my entire list of changes that I would fucking add to Dead by Daylight. Whew, and they said I couldn't do it better. In 2 hours, I made Dead by Daylight look like a great game. Okay. What time is it? About 1. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm going to play a little bit, but I'm going to play on a different stream because I want to like save this video and have it be its own thing. So that's every change I would make to this game. Ciao, lads. BRB.